Welcome back to BNC, everyone. After the president's State of the Union address and the Republican response, Texas Congressman Colin Allred delivered the first ever Congressional Black Caucus response to the State of the Union address, saying that the administration has Black people's backs. Well, I'm joined now by Representative Troy Carter from Capitol Hill. He represents Louisiana's 2nd Congressional District and is also a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congressman Troy Carter, thank you so much for joining us here on BNC Live. After hearing Representative Allred say the current administration has our backs last night, tell us why we needed to hear from the CBC.
Well, I think it's important to hear from the CBC because of the tremendous impact that the CBC has in moving the president's agenda forward. We know that the CBC's leadership was critical in advancing the infrastructure bill. We know that this is a block of votes that have historically been supportive of the agenda of the White House. And so having the American people hear that the president recognizes the significant investment in man and woman and people power that has been exerted in the Congress to advance meaningful policy was very important for people to know that not only is the Black Caucus working, but the president sees it, understands it, and will continue to shape policies that will correct the oversights that have historically happened in Black and brown communities.
And there were a number of people who felt that the president did not specifically and directly address African Americans in his State of the Union address. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know that he didn't. I mean, when we talk about many of the issues inherent when we talk about education, or we talk about healthcare, we talk about HBCUs, and those are all things that are in fact important for the African American community. I don't know that it's necessary to always spell it out specifically. It's always nice to have those issues that are signaled out, but actions are much better than words. And the work of this administration speaks for itself. The actions and the policies from the ARP to the resources that have been available for pulling children and families out of poverty. These are all issues that speak so much louder than words because they hit people in their pocketbooks. It hits them in their homes. It hits them in their communities where they see the kind of advancements that are making their everyday lives better. So I'd much rather see action than words any day. And I think the president and the Biden administration have definitely demonstrated, both in word and deed, that they recognize the importance and are working in that regard.
Congressman, you're running for re-election this year. Do you think the work done on Capitol Hill and the accomplishments outlined in the State of the Union address are enough? We know the president's approval ratings are low. We know that midterms are critical.
I think the president's ratings are low primarily because Democrats haven't done a good enough job telling the story. I don't think it's because there hadn't been enough work. I think that if there's anything, the low mark should be at self-promotion. I think that if you look at the efforts that have happened under the Biden administration the last just shortly over a year, it's more than some administrations do in their entire term. So I think the low mark, if one is appropriate, it should be given because there hasn't been enough telling of the true story of the lives that are being changed, of the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that was passed that 116 Congresses before this has tried to do. But this Congress did it in the first year. The ARP that was passed in the first year of the Biden administration, many have tried, but this was done. The reality that we will now have broadband for communities that have historically not had it in a time when communities of brown and black desperately need internet. We know now that in 2022, having access to the internet is like running water and electricity. This president understands it, advanced the cause, and now Americans will have it. Crumbling roads and bridges that have historically been falling apart and would not have any way of being sustained now have an opportunity to be fixed, which creates jobs, which creates economic opportunity.